Mississippi versus Alabama. We're going to have a clear winner here. Two states enter, only one could win. Who do you have your money on? If you're relocating, this is great information for you. We got the data sets, and we are going to give both states report cards. Where are they coming in? Higher here, lower here. We got it all for you today in this episode, and it's under 9 minutes. So, quick one. Let's go in the Battle of the States.
Two states enter, but only one can win. We are scoring on tax, housing, jobs.
Get it started, clean cut, clear, dry, both starting at the same level, and then we could kind of dissect these states individually. All right, so here we go. Population trends here. Mississippi is holding number 8 in outbound. People are sleeving. They're not leaving, they're sleeving. That's speedy leaving, okay? They're sitting at 2.94, call it 3 million people in there, according to the census. Alabama is sitting at 5.16. They got about 2 million more, and 59% inbound. They're sitting at the 6th highest of states nationally of people coming in the state. So they're getting a lot of migration, trend positive in Alabama. Mississippi, they're negatively trending for people leaving. All right, so Mississippi is shrinking. Let's talk about the weather. They're both sit at about the same type of weather. Of course, 65 on average, 66 on average, but both humid, subtropical. You know that the storms will roll through there. You know that they're prone to certain different hurricanes and tornadoes and things like that in the summer. But Bama's foothills run a little cooler than Mississippi. Let's take a second to go through a little history of both. They're both carved out of the same U.S. territory. Mississippi hit statehood in 1817, followed shortly after by Alabama in 1819. They both got the Civil War. They both got the cotton. They both got civil rights epicenters, especially in Montgomery and Selma, which shaped both of them. Let's talk about Mississippi. Taxes are flat, 4.7% in the income tax. That's actually a little lower in 2025 now as I'm speaking, but they just started pushing legislation to try to get 0% income tax. I'm not sure, the government, they slow on everything except for taking your money out your check. So we don't know when that's gonna get realized, but it is what it is. Property tax is at 0.70% effective rate. The state sales tax is at 7%. For Mississippi, the housing average home values is $190,000. That's basically very recent. Last month, those numbers are coming in from Zillow. The jobs, though, unemployment is sitting at 4.0. That is the national average. They are right at the national average, which means they are high. There's a lot of unemployed there. And that means that you can see how population and trends actually connect the dots, especially when you talk about home prices as well as income as well as unemployment, right? If not a lot of people is working, there's not a lot of activity going on. People are not buying homes. People are not hitting the values up. All right, so median household income is $54,000. Let's call it $55,000. Violent crime rate is 245. That will probably get touched by violent crime for every 100K residents. That's super low. They're 36% below U.S. average. And in fact, if they just go one state up to Tennessee, that number is looking like 2,450 per every 100K residents. But we're not talking about Tennessee. We are talking about Mississippi. Their crime rate is low. Okay, lifestyle. Warmest winters in the lower 48 outside of Florida and Texas. Football Saturdays in Oxford, Blue Trails along the Delta, the Blues. All right, so like just to round it all up, you got cheap rooftops, cheap housing, light property taxes, and crime stats outside Jackson that are calmer than the national norm. Downside though, wages and growth lag, and that's why people are leaving. Let's talk about Alabama. This is round 2 now. All right, taxes, they're bracketed 2.2 to 5% income tax plus overtime wages are tax-free. Property tax 0.36% lowest in the mainland U.S., combined with a sales tax, which is a little higher than Mississippi. That's sitting at 9.29%. So give and take there. You got the lowest property tax, and then you got a little higher sales tax in Alabama. Alabama averaging home value is $234,000, and that's recent, last month. Unemployment is lower than Mississippi. It's sitting at 3.3. Median household income is a little higher than Mississippi. It's sitting at 62,000. Violent crime rate is a little higher than Mississippi. It's sitting at 409 per every 100,000 residents. That's 7% above U.S. average. Okay. Lifestyle there is Rocket City Tech in Huntsville. You got Gulf Coast beaches and the nation's priciest grocery sales tax. So, you know, where you're getting a little drawback, you're paying for it in of course, sales tax, grocery tax, and things like that. So Alabama hands you a bigger paychecks and rock bottom property taxes. Just budget for higher sales tax at the checkout and a spikier crime mat in big metros. All right, so let's do side by side and give you this report card right now. All right, so for taxes, Mississippi, we're going to give that a 7. For Alabama, we're going to give it 8. Okay, the range is from 1 to 10. They're weighted. Of course, taxes is going to weight the highest: housing, job, safety, lifestyle. We're going to go down this list here and see who's the clear winner. All right, so housing, we're going to give Mississippi score a 9. Okay, and then Alabama score a 7 for that. Jobs, we're going to give Mississippi a 6. We're going to give Alabama a 7 for that. Safety, we're going to give Mississippi a 8. We're going to give Alabama a 6 for that. A lifestyle, we're going to give Mississippi a 6. And we're going to give Alabama a 6.5. So it turns out that Mississippi has won. And they're coming in at 7.5 out of 10. And then Alabama's not too far behind with a 7.1 out of 10. And even though Mississippi has won, just doing this, the data is really clear that you're going to get better value. You're going to get a better lifestyle. The jobs are going to be more available, and you don't have to deal with a lot of unemployment and wage lagging in Alabama. So Alabama, even though Mississippi scores a little higher in the data sets, I believe just virtually that Alabama is a better state than Mississippi. If you don't agree, I need to know in the comments. As you know, I love knowing what you know because you help me grow. You help me actually dissect a little more. So if you're equity hungry and salary focused, well, you don't care about salary, right? Let's say you don't care about salary. You just want equity. You want to be able to purchase low. You want to be able to effectively grow in real estate and things like that. Mississippi takes the crown for that. If you crave higher income and never want to see a scary property tax bill, Alabama's 7.1 may still be your play. So in today's Battle of the States, that's what we have, Alabama versus Mississippi. Where do you want me to go next? I could take 2 states, but this is be the next series that we do for the next foreseeable future, where we do the Battle of the States. So shout out to Mississippi for winning this one with the numbers, but virtually I think you and I know that Alabama's the better state. Peace.